Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Play .hack GU. This is some type of artist. Last time we did our arena match against Alcade, and we won by cheating, as Hiseo is known to do. Not intentionally, of course, but whatever. What's up, Gaspard? You're amazing in the semi-final! Congrats, by the way. I found this post on the rumors board. Do you think it has anything to do with Tri-Edge? And we'll see all this afterwards. It's kind of weird that I don't know. I guess people that aren't interested in the message board might have just skipped over it entirely, but I feel like if you don't have a goal in .hack in general, whether it's in the original series or the GU series, you know, you check the message board for places to go. So I feel like you'd end up here anyway, but I don't know. It was nice of Gaspard to, like, think of Hiseo when he read this. So someone here thinks he ran into Tri-Edge. I don't think he did, though, because he mentioned something about, like, a big shadow with, like, red eyes, and I don't know what he thinks he saw, but it was over at the Margubaru wall that Pyrrhus III had, was staking out in the weirdest position. But it is interesting here because they did mention, like, Tri-Edge's... I think they mentioned Tri-Edge's similarity to Kite. I wasn't paying attention too close to the words there on the screen, as I should have been doing. But, you know, if they did, then they did. If they didn't, then it was at another episode I had edited together recently, and that I'm just thinking of that one. You know, it's a shame, because, like, any people that are, like,
I'll go see what's up at Delta Hidden Forbidden.
Anyone that's really making any kind of connections between things happening in GU and things happening in the original series almost always is on the message boards. So, like, in a way, I feel like the message boards do, like, a better job at telling the story than the actual game does. Because you also got people with, like, a lot of different types of personality, and, you know, like, I don't think any of the main characters' voice acting is bad, but, like, the PCs that, like, randomly show up usually have really stupid voices. So you don't have to deal with, like, voices if you like them or not when you're just reading the message boards. So I feel like that just, like, leaves a better impression on me sometimes.
Tri-Edge get you? Hey, hang in there.
Oh, he was asleep. Thank goodness. Hiseo has to do his anime fall thing. Yeah, when I was, like, super into anime, I really, like, appreciated, like, yeah, like, the switch drop thing like that shows up, the anime fall, the angry veins thing. I appreciated all of that. And if you're into anime, then I guess that'd be something to like about this game too, but I don't know, since I've
He's not waking up.
Since I've had, like, a falling out with anime, these are all just things that just kind of, like, distance me from GU even more. But thankfully, this wasn't a waste of time, because we actually do have an interesting scene here.
Huh? What the hell is he doing here? Atoli.
Well, Atoli, do you sense anything?
Yes, it's very small, but I hear a sound.
I see. Then, do you hear anything on the other side of the wall?
I can hear something from the other side, but it feels very different from this.
Then it looks like I guessed wrong. Too bad. I thought for sure the main body of this would be sleeping here.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry, it's all right. You don't have to apologize. I have great faith in those abilities of yours.
Thank you very much. Sakaki. I'm happy to be able to help you on this task. You know I'm always here for you.
Very well. By the way, have you noticed any change in Haseo?
No, not especially.
What? Is Atoli using us?
Then that's fine. Please continue to keep an eye on him. I am counting on you.
In the end, it's still Sakaki this, Sakaki that, Sakaki everything to her. Looks like he's got me in his sights too. Still, what was that they were saying about hearing a sound? Why am I getting all worked up about this? Well, it's nearly time for the final round of the tournament. Guess I'll go check my email or something.
Telling you, every time. I'm still not exactly sure what Sakaki was talking about here. I thought I maybe did, but now I'm trying to remember, because... like, my memory with the GU series is always kind of like... I remember less and less as the volumes go on, and it's weird because technically I feel like I've played them all about the same amount, but... I don't know, like I said, part of the reason why I have so many hours on my original file is because I was just rewatching the movies in the movie viewer again and again and again. So I feel like I have a lot of the cutscenes from the first game down more than in Volume 2, and then in sequent place than in Volume 3. So now I'm just kind of remembering something that it might be revealed in Volume 3 what he's talking about. I'm not sure. Again, so the whole syllabus has a new training area for us here. That's all that said. What's in the forum here? Anything interesting? Anything good? Nope. Just more where can I find items that I'm already finding regularly. But yeah, that's like... I don't know. I started Volume 3 earlier this week, and it's amazing how I've forgotten, like, the entirety of it. Like, I have such little memory of what actually goes down in Volume 3. I remember vague, concrete things, but I don't know so many of the whys. And you could say that I could say the same thing about the original series, too. Although I do think I have a better recollection of the original series. Yeah, I don't know, like, for some reason, like, after the halfway point in the original series, it kind of dips for me a little bit. I wouldn't say it gets bad or anything, but, you know, the original series kind of places more of a focus on, like, a mystery, and you're playing the part of detective. And I feel like in any kind of, like, mystery kind of setting, the build-up to what it is usually more interesting than the payoff itself. So I think that's why I'm, like, a bigger fan of the first two games than the second two games. I can say this, though, from what I've played of Volume 3, it gets super stupid. I'm laughing, like, the whole time as I'm playing Volume 3. I have no idea, like, what they were thinking with some of this stuff. But I'm still... I don't know. Maybe I'm, like, a quarter of the way through it now. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe I'll get better answers to things. But yeah, for whatever reason, like... no matter what the dot hack thing, I feel like there's so much discussion about what could this be, or why is this happening the way it is, and it places a lot of focus on questions that when the answers come around, I feel like they're almost glossed over, because there's like another question in the process. So when Sakaki's talking about what this is, it's like I had a couple of ideas, and I don't want to like spoil what either of them are. I guess a sort of spoilery thing, but not really, is at the end of the game, you do go on the other side of that wall. So what you find there, I originally thought maybe that's what he's talking about. But for the context of everything else he was saying, I was thinking, no. Because what does that have to do with... So, I don't know. I guess we'll find that out as it goes along. That's always, like, the beauty of, like, playing a game that you're really familiar with, but you don't remember everything about. Because it's, like... You get that experience of, like, discovering it for the first time all over again. And I mean, I've been playing dot hack games since 2003. So it's nice to know there's, like, a series out there where it's, like, I'm always, like, rediscovering, like, a why. Or something I've forgotten about. Yeah, so even though GU's story isn't, like, my favorite thing in the world anymore... You know, I do... You know, there are a lot of times when I just, like, randomly think, hey, why did this happen in this game? Like, my one friend that played this game kind of alongside me when they were coming out, we go back and talk about this game, like, from time to time, and we're always trying to remember why certain things happened, and when certain things happened, and if certain things happened. So, being able to, like, re-experience it is always, like, a nice feeling. That being said, I am getting kind of burnt out of dot hack GU. Like, I'm ready to... I love making the videos for this, but I'm getting pretty burnt out, like, actually playing the game. You know, once I sit down and get into it, it is still fun to play, but... You know, and I could say this for, like, the first series, too. Like, even though each volume is pretty short, when you put them all together, you are getting, like, a longer than average RPG. And it's just kind of... I don't know if other people go through this, but when I pick up an RPG again, I go through, like, different phases of it. Like, when I pick it up for the first time... well, not for the first time. Like, when I'm replaying it and I pick it up that first day and start replaying it, it's like I get all my memories flooding back to me, and I'm, like, really enjoying playing it again. I even enjoy, like, rereading tutorials and shit, because it just feels like, you know, like, again, like, it's like the first time you're playing it again. Not for every game, mind you, but for a lot of them. I like being used to remembering how much damage you were doing at the end of the game, and now suddenly you're back doing, like, single-digit damage, and it's exciting to, like, see you, like, really focus on, like, using items that you may not have been using like later in the game, like attack items and stuff like that, and like getting excited when you find, like, your first piece of equipment that's, like, a shitty piece of equipment, but it's, like, it's better than what you have, so awesome. Defense increased by, like, 2 whole points. It's so good. But and I guess somewhere, like, towards, like, the quarter of the way mark, I get into my groove, and I'm just, like, I'm playing it like normal, I'm enjoying myself, but, like, I guess then around, like, the 2/3 mark, it's like, I'm not necessarily not enjoying it anymore, but I like, the wonder of it all is kind of fading off, and it's just kind of, like, it's slowly getting to the point of me just trying to wrap it up and go on to something else. I don't know, it depends on the type of game, I guess, too. The original dot hack series, for example, it's kind of like a trade-off, because I feel like the story starts to dip after the halfway mark. Again, not that it gets bad, but I definitely enjoy the first half of the series and the story over the second half. But then I think the gameplay gets more complicated and more interesting afterwards, and it's not so much because anything's really changed, it's just because, you know, monsters are really starting to get tougher now. If you usually had to keep on top of your HP and stuff to start with, but now it's like you really need to make sure you have a dedicated healer for, like, every single battle. You need to make sure your items are stocked up. You need to make sure you're playing around with your elemental weaknesses. you fight monsters with infinite health that you need to find, you know, patterns about what gets them to the point where you need to data drain them so you can actually start attacking them. Spells get flashier and stuff like that too. Like, one thing in GU that they did that they didn't do in the original series, which I guess I view as like an improvement, is that skills are usually flashier. It feels more exciting to watch battles in GU than it is in the original series. Yeah, I guess I had enough of this and decided we can just skip through all this. Yeah, the original series is one of those games that's fun to play, but maybe not so much fun to watch. And fun to play might even just be a subjective thing too, because, you know, even though I think it includes more variety than GU does, it is still kind of like more of the same, just repeated over and over. I don't know, but yeah, that RPG philosophy I have, where like the patterns of when I'm enjoying the game the most. I'm trying to think of like other games like that. Like Legend of Dragoon is one that I always feel like that same exact way for. I feel like after the halfway point in that game, like after Disc 2, it kind of starts losing me a little bit. It also starts shifting in the story too. Final Fantasy VII? I haven't played Final Fantasy VII in years and years and years. That was my favorite Final Fantasy game for a long time, but I think it might be... Well, Tactics. Final Fantasy Tactics is my favorite Final Fantasy game. But if you wanted like a favorite in the main numbered series, I normally would have said 7, but you know, 10 might have tied or even taken over that one recently. So I can't really comment about 7. I can comment about 8. 8 definitely felt more interesting in the first half, and then it just nosedived into a horrible disaster in both story and gameplay afterwards. So definitely that one. I felt more enjoyment at the beginning of the game than the end of the game. Yeah, I don't know, there's a lot of RPGs that I'd kind of like to revisit that I haven't touched in a long time. And I had planned to, but I definitely wanted to start recording some GU stuff by the time the summertime came. Because the reason why I wanted to do a GU Let's Play when I'm doing it now is because it takes place the same year that we're in right now. Dot Hack GU takes place in 2017, and I just thought it would have been interesting to kind of make some comparisons to what the quote-unquote future is like now that we're actually there in the future. It's still kind of like a mind trip thinking that, yeah, I don't know, I guess I'm used to like what if you guys ever like play a video game and like an old one again, and you kind of like takes you right back to when you first played it. GU doesn't really, as I'm playing GU, even when I started it, it didn't really do it for me. It didn't really take me back to 2006 like it did the my second overall playthrough of it. Like, I have memories and everything, and I'll definitely think of them when I think about GU, but like playing the game doesn't like bring me back to that point in time. I still feel like very much like me, who I am now, at my age now, in the year I'm at now, just playing an older game that I played in the past. I don't really have like that taking me back feeling. When I played the original series a couple of years ago, that took me back to like high school, and I got all giddy with nostalgia and everything like that. And the original series took place in 2010, and it was kind of like a mind trip thinking about how that was like the future when the games came out. And I was able to like suspend some disbelief and bring myself back to 2003 and, you know, believe that 2010 was like the future for at least a little while. But with GU, I can't really like you know, bring myself back to 2006 and think of 2017 as in the future. Wow, those guys just totally synced up. Yeah, it's weird though. Like, I kind of wanted to show some of like the news features that don't have anything to do with the game, because I feel like, you know, what they're saying is kind of interesting because it does kind of mirror stuff that's been happening like recently. But at the same time, it's like I gotta draw a line at some point about what I can show and not show in GU, because, you know, GU definitely can go on and on and on. But I was trying to think of this one specific thing that really caught my interest. I don't know. If you ever get into GU again, I think it's definitely worth a look to take a look at the news, just to kind of like see where we're at now. I mean, some of the stuff they're talking about in the news, it's already been done, like even back when this game came out. Like, I'm pretty sure there was like a Netflix type, you know, service that they were talking about back then. And I mean Netflix as we know it now, not like Netflix that was back in 2006 where they like mailed you your DVDs. Do they still do that? Our family's Netflix account, we suspended that part. But it's weird to think, because like so many people like rely on streaming. I feel like there's not a lot of people that really get anything from having like physical copies of things, or so I have to like wonder, like, is that something Netflix kept around too? I don't know. You know, this dungeon, we've seen it so many times. And end with Syllabus and Atoli to boot. It's like, it still makes me so mad about like the lack of variety in here. These Chiquidatas are such a pain too, but I already complained about them last time. Anyway. So yeah, RPGs, I definitely, I don't know what I wanted to play this summer. There's certain games that I'm like in the mood for to play at certain times of year. Like Golden Sun for the Game Boy Advance was always a game that I enjoyed playing in the summer the most. And it's weird because it's not like my first playthrough was in the summer or anything. That was in the spring, but for some reason I just have like I've always just ended up picking it up again in the summer, and that's a pretty short RPG too. I kind of wanted to look at that again since, you know, it was so short. You can probably beat that one within 20 hours. Hell, I think the last time I played it I had in like 15. Yeah, I played the original Golden Sun a lot of times. Not the Lost Age, though. I played the Lost Age, like, maybe twice. One was, when it first came out, and one was all the way in college, actually. Just because I felt like, why haven't I played this more? It's definitely a lot longer. Kind of feels like it has a bit of a more darker and serious tone, too, at times, than the original Golden Sun. And I know it's like Golden Sun 1 ends on a cliffhanger and everything, but I don't know. I'm usually just fine playing the first game, which is a shame because I think I like the characters in the Lost Age more, but I don't know. Doesn't help that you also have to have like 2 Game Boys and a link cable to like transfer your characters over, unless you want to like have this ridiculous 3-page password down of random letters and numbers and symbols. That was weird. Yeah, I've been picking up some games from GameStop lately too, since you know, they were bringing retro games back in some stores, so I've been keeping an eye on some older ones that I've been meaning to look for, and even just like Wii U and PS3 ones, since they're getting really cheap now too. So I was lucky enough and I found Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door for GameCube. It was only like $30, and it had the original case and the instructions and even like the subscribe to Nintendo Power stuff inside. It was great. I've never actually played a Paper Mario game, but I have watched Let's Plays of it by a few different people, and it looks super fun. And I was like really excited to play it, but then But then I started .hack GU, and that's better, right? Oh, man. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe if I wasn't, like... I'm still having fun with it, but this is definitely, like, my least enjoyed playthrough of GU. And most of it has to do with the story. There's so many, like, hints of, like, good ideas scattered throughout it, and I just feel like it just never uses them well. I don't know. I guess it's hard to say now, because I guess we're still so early in the story. I mean, we're coming up close to the end of Volume 1, but, you know, when you take everything all together, like... I'll explain more about this probably in Volume 2. That's when things start getting, not stupid. Because Volume 3 is definitely the champion of that right now for me. Man, I wish I could just spoil it for you right now. It's so freaking stupid. But I'll manage. We'll get there when we get there. But anyway, so... Sorry it was another training episode, but... You know, hopefully some random talk about random stuff was at least a little more interesting than just watching Haseo and Syllabus and Atoli fight their way through a cave against a million Chikidatas. Anyway, next time we'll actually have an interesting episode, I think. So I'll see you then. Bye.